Good evening, graduates, family members, friends, faculty, and staff. It's a beautiful evening for a celebration. I'm Dr. Kristen Westover, the president at Mountain Empire Community College, and I'm excited to welcome you to the 2021 Mountain Empire Community College Nursing Pinning Ceremony. Tonight we're gathered here together, and that's nice to be together, in this beautiful venue to recognize you, our nursing graduates, for your dedication, persistence, and perseverance. This past year has presented unique challenges for our entire country. Despite the countless distractions, fears, and dangers that you faced during this pandemic, you committed yourselves to completing your goal to become a nurse. Each of you has shown tremendous flexibility and commitment in your learning. You've set goals, you've studied long hours. Many may have juggled class schedules, work schedules, family schedules, countless Zoom sessions, and served in clinicals in the center of a pandemic in order to accomplish your educational goal. You've probably experienced every emotion possible during the course of your educational journey, from uncertainty and anxiety to joy and excitement when you performed well in your studies, and maybe even a little disappointed if learning didn't come as quickly or as easily as you may have expected. Regardless of all of those feelings, you're accomplishing your educational goals. You stayed the course, and you did it with distinction and recognition. It gives me great joy to see you all accomplishing what you set out to do, but even more so to know that you'll be serving in a field that so desperately needs amazing graduates like you. As you celebrate your accomplishments this evening, I also ask that you be thankful of those who've supported you in reaching your goals. And I imagine they may be sitting right here with you this evening. I'm sure that each of you can think of at least one individual who helped, supported, or encouraged you to become the best nurse possible. I'd like to give special recognition this evening to those of you who are here tonight who supported and encouraged a graduate, and your support really has had an impact. Congratulations to you all, and best wishes in your nursing careers.
Let me take this mask off. I'm Deborah Clarkston. I'm the program coordinator for the nursing program, and it's my distinct honor to introduce some folks to you. Dr. Westover, our president's already introduced herself to you. To my right in the front row is Dr. Jeff Radford, who's going to be our special speaker tonight. I'll do a little longer introduction in a few minutes. Behind Dr. Westover is Kim Dorton, who is our Dean of Health Sciences at Mountain Empire Community College. Also on the stage is one of our faculty, Jada Oakes, who has a spot in the program later, and she's one of the faculty members. In addition, Donna Klusman was one of the folks that welcomed you up at the top. Amanda Davis is here somewhere. Yep, she's waving from the back. Jada Oakes, I already mentioned, is on the stage. Mandy Robbins is another person that met you upstairs. And then Deborah Wright is around the corner, and she'll be giving out roses here in a few minutes. We're a small nursing program in some respects, but in others we're pretty large in comparison to some other schools. But we could not do it with all the host of different people that help us. And one of those folks is Arietta Harvey, our administrative assistant for health sciences. Kim Rasnick is here, and she's over on the side. Kim is our simulation lab instructor. She serves more than one program, and we are especially thankful for what she does for us. We also have a huge network of adjunct faculty that teach with us to help us cover all the clinical agencies, as well as peer volunteers or voluntodes that are preceptors. We could not begin to give the experience to the students that we do without them. We also want to give some special thank yous for being able to have this program here tonight. Natural Tunnel stepped right up as soon as we asked and said, yes, we can help you, we can do it, and they didn't charge us. So that's a wonderful thing that worked out there. Dr. Victoria Ratliff, who was retiring as VP at Mountain Empire Community College, came up with the idea of budgeting for the pens so that we could give you your pens. In the past, students had to buy their pens, so it was her idea to do that. Peggy Gibson works in the president's office, and she's the one that did this lovely display of the plants that you see here. Our MECC facilities folks brought in different pieces of equipment, and they did the signage. Lana Kennedy did a lot of the printing stuff for us from the college, and then our computing and information technology folks are here. So tonight may have looked simple, but it took a lot of planning and a lot of people pitching in and doing different things to make it happen. Now I want to spend a little more time telling you about Dr. Jeff Radford, our speaker for tonight. It is with great pride and pleasure that I introduce Dr. Jeff Radford. He has a passion to serve and develop others. He's a recognized leader, published author, and speaker. He completed an Associate Applied Science in Nursing for the Virginia Appalachian Tri-College Nursing Program at the Mountain Empire Community Campus, a Bachelor's in Science in Nursing from Old Dominion University, a Master's of Business Administration with a concentration in Healthcare Management from Baker College, and has a doctorate in Strategic Leadership from Regent University. He has a wealth of experience in both the clinical setting and in leadership, including serving as a regional chief nursing officer supporting the clinical departments of as many as 20 hospitals. He currently serves as the Regional Chief Executive Officer for Select Specialty Hospital, where he leads 5 hospitals throughout Kentucky, Tennessee, and South Carolina. He is the founder of Mercy Speaks, an LLC, and he strives to educate others about merciful leadership. Please welcome Dr. Radford back to MECC.
When she was introducing me, I'm like, who is that guy? I'm honored to be here today to the graduates of the nursing program, distinguished faculty, families, and friends. It is my pleasure to be at your inaugural pinning ceremony. I was as I was driving here, I was serving at a hospital in Kentucky today on the way home, and I was thinking about how I felt in 1997 as I stood as a student. And I delivered a speech at my pinning ceremony at Virginia Highlands Community College. And today I wear my nursing pin. And it was the 25th anniversary pin that was developed, and I wear it in honor of that experience. And I also wear it in honor of this memory that we are creating together as the inaugural pinning ceremony for Mountain Empire Community College. You know, I recognize that as our introductory speaker was talking about, we have gone through some challenging times. And this class especially has gone through challenges that my class back in '97, other nursing classes at Mountain Empire Community College have never experienced. You experienced what I termed as partiality. And that partiality is you had partial online classes, partial clinicals, things that you had to face. Hospitals were closing doors to clinicals. My own hospitals had to do that. We closed doors to visitation. And I will tell you that as a hospital operator, I made some of the most challenging decisions I've ever had to make in my career regarding visitation and visitors not being there in trying times for patients. And as a nurse by trade who keeps my nursing license active because I am a nurse, I had to look at patients who otherwise needed their families at the bedside and were not able to have their families in certain circumstances, and it was a challenge. So you have overcome challenges as this class. You've overcome the partiality. You've had to overcome things that as I said, folks have not had to overcome before, but what I see is you're sitting here, and you've made it. And that's special, I know, to you and your families and friends, but it's special to me because I know you've overcome those challenges. If you allow me a few minutes, I want to tell you how I got started. And it really started for me on Gilley Avenue in Big Stone Gap, Virginia. And I was a member of the Junior Rescue Squad with Big Stone Gap Rescue Squad. My dad was a member of the rescue squad, and I wanted to spend time with him initially, so I decided to join. We had one vehicle, and usually as a pastor of a church there in Big Stone, he had that vehicle. So I often kiddingly say it started for me on a 10-speed bicycle at the age of 17. Now, I will say I thought I was something because I had a uniform on. I had a big gawky Motorola radio on my side, clipped to my shirt. Thought I was going to save the world, a lot of testosterone flowing, and I knew that I was just something and ready to get out there. So when the rescue squad calls would go off, I would jump on my 10-speed bicycle on Gilley Avenue, run the stop signs because I thought I was something. It's a wonder I didn't have a light on my bicycle. And I would head to the rescue squad building and jump on the back of the ambulance as an EMT, newly certified, ready to make a difference. And then I started taking patients to the ER there at Lonesome Pine Hospital. And there was a nurse there, a male nurse, and not oftentimes we saw back in the days, not too popular, a career that typically had females in it, and this male nurse commanded the scene. And sometimes I even saw the doctors would step aside and let this nurse call the shots. He was that experienced and that well-known and that committed to patient care. And what he didn't know was that as an EMT running rescue squad calls at this young age, I was watching him and watching his confidence and watching his every move. And I knew that, you know what, that's somebody that I want to emulate. That's somebody that I want to be like. That's somebody that I want to go after. So I applied to the nursing school at Mountain Empire Community College. The first year that I applied, I was not accepted. I thought, well, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do with my career? I really want to be a nurse. And so I continued to work on the general ed classes there. And in the second year, I applied, and I got in the program. So it took me literally 4 years, actually, to complete a 2-year degree there. But that sparked an interest to go into the hospital setting. I remember folks like Miss Clarkston, Miss Klusman, Miss Watson telling me, you need to start on the med-surg unit because that's where you're going to get the basis, the foundation of your nursing career. And I'm like, no, I don't want anything to do with med-surg. I want to be an ER nurse. I want to be an ICU nurse. I want to, use this testosterone I have and go in there and save those lives. And fortunately for my career, those ICU levels, ER levels weren't hiring new grads. So guess where I had to start? Med-surg, night shift, started out as a nurse. And, nurses sometimes have the tendency to eat their young, per se, as far as when I started, they were like, oh, this is a new guy. He doesn't know anything, and he's getting started out there. So I had CNAs, and I know their names personally, that said, come on, let me show you a few things. And by there, my career started to build and develop. So I later went to the operating room and got great experience there. Case management, got great experience there. Worked on my degrees while working, being a dad, being a husband. So I know what you've been through, and I sympathize, and I think about the sacrifices that you've made. And then I was in my doctoral program at Regent University, and if you'll just give me a few more minutes just to kind of lay this platform for you. I was in my doctoral program, and I was thinking about some of those nursing experiences, and I thought, you know what, I'm from Big Stone Gap, Virginia, and people started stepping up and saying, oh, I work for the Pentagon, and I do these big jobs. And I was like, oh, man, I'm out of place here. I'm a country boy with a John Deere lawnmower and a red Silverado. I don't know if I need to be here in this big doctoral program. So I went to who later became my mentor, Dr. King. And he said, Jeff, first of all, this being a Christian university I was at, he said, we prayed over every student, and so there's a reason why you're here. You were chosen. And that made me feel good inside. And then he said, I want you to look around all these students that are here. And he said, at the end of the program, there'll be a lot of these students that will no longer be here. He said, I'm going to give you 2 characteristics that will encourage you, and if you're going to make it through this doctoral program, which was 3.5 years long, while working, while being a dad, while being a husband, he said you got to have 2 characteristics. Number 1, you have to have endurance, and number 2, you have to have a willingness to learn. He said if you look around this crowd, and you've heard them talk today, a lot of them will not have the endurance to finish the program. And if you look around this crowd today and you've heard them talk, because some of them said some big words that I probably needed a dictionary for, he said they don't have the willingness to learn because they already know it all. And 3.5 years later, I went to my graduation and I stood there for my hooding ceremony. And I surveyed the room, and Dr. King's words came to me. And that word endurance and that word willingness to learn came back to my memory. And a lot of those students that I started with were no longer there. But I stood there because of endurance and a willingness to learn. And can I tell you, as I've surveyed this audience, and thank goodness you have gray and black scrubs now, I had solid white. I survey this audience, and I see all over this crowd representatives of endurance, and I see all over this crowd representatives of a willingness to learn. More so than any other nursing class, you've had to have endurance through COVID-19. Your families have been impacted. Friends have been impacted. People you probably know from the community have passed away because of this horrible virus. Families have been stretched. Jobs have been given up. Car payments have been delayed. Different things come to my mind that may have impacted you and your family. But you sit here today because you've had endurance and you've had a willingness to learn. One of my first opportunities to learn endurance and a willingness to learn was in a lab at Mountain Empire Community College. I went into that lab and I had to learn how to miter the corner of the bed. And as I looked at the bed trying to figure out what in the world does miter mean and how to miter the corner of the bed, I looked at a fellow, and I won't give names tonight out of all due respect, but I looked at a fellow instructor who she only allowed her students to walk around the bed just a couple of times. But the instructor I had thought that my efforts of walking around the 10 times around my bed was comical. And I had endurance because I'm like, I don't want to go over there and be making that bed for that instructor. I am so grateful for this instructor who showed me a little bit of mercy and kindness, because I didn't have a lot of experience making a bed as a teenager, and she understood. But can I tell you, that first skill of mitering the corner and making it look professional, that I didn't really get the why I should do that, I still practice that in my own home today as I make the bed daily for my wife and I, as we make our bed and miter the corners, because even the smallest details in our careers, the smallest details as a nurse, the smallest kindness, acts of kindness, or mitering the corner, making it look professional, means something to our patients. And now I get it. Years, it took me a while why did I have to learn to miter that corner? And I get it. Or the sharp look from Miss Klusman when that pill hit the floor in my clinical at Norton Community Hospital, and I was like looking at her, and she was looking at me, and I thought, oh no, I have ruined my experience as a nursing student. But I knew that she wanted me to pay attention to detail and to know exactly what I was doing, and that took a willingness to learn the angle that she was coming from. And just the great experiences that I've had in nursing. And can I tell you, I look through this crowd, and as I see the endurance and a willingness to learn, I want to tell you that you are the only limit standing in your way to creating great experiences and memories in your life and in your career. You are. I read a quote just a couple weeks ago that says, if you think you can, and if you think you can't, you're right. So what do you choose this evening as you graduate, as you get your nursing pin, as you get ready to take your boards, as you get ready to go through your career? What do you decide to do today? You think you can, or you think you can't? Which right will you be as you leave this nice setting that we have here today? Which right will you be? Will you be the right that says, I can do it? and the sky is the only limit for me, I will not be the limit for my career. I think about the lives that as nursing students you have already impacted. And as I was learning to give bed baths early in my nursing career, I started thinking about, why am I having to do this? I want to start IVs. I want to put catheters in. I want to change wound dressings. But I had to miter the corner and fold the washcloth correctly and give bed baths. But all I remember now is that that was a foundation building who I have become today, and I owe it to the people that invested in me as a student. And I gave them a hard time, and I won't go into detail of the different hard times that I gave them during my nursing class, and the songs that I made up and wrote and played on a guitar in class, and different things that I did. But I realized that that was the foundation of me now becoming who I am today. So I encourage you today to keep that endurance and that willingness to learn. Go for it. I'm an example that healthcare has so many varieties of places that you can go. You can be a leader. You can be the med-surg nurse that provides the best care. You can be the one that impacts the community through public health settings. You can be the chief nursing officer. You can do what you want to do because you've entered into a career where don't you be the limit, but let the sky be the limit. So I encourage you today to go change the world. Go impact the patients that you will encounter. You'll never know the lives that you touch. You'll never realize how small of a world that it is. Just this week, as I was staying in the hotel in Danville, Kentucky, I was walking by and there was a lady that I recognized by face. I looked at her and I thought, I know this lady from somewhere. I had seen her 2 weeks ago. This is my 9th week of being there, and I had seen her 2 weeks ago, and I didn't approach her. But this week, I approached her and I said, "Are you from Big Stone Gap, Virginia?" And she said, "I am." And I looked at her and I said, "Did you go to nursing school at Mountain Empire Community College?" And she said, "I did." And I said, "Oh, I'm here helping at one of my hospitals here in Kentucky." And she said, "I'm a travel nurse and I'm here traveling." And so here it was, she and I linked together through this college, through the commonality of being from Big Stone Gap to Virginia. So the world is a small world in this healthcare career. And what you've gained over the last few years that you've been in school is nothing but a foundation and a launching pad for you to go change the world. So keep endurance and a willingness to learn, and go change the world. Thank you.
I want to thank Dr. Radford very much for coming back, and he was a very entertaining student. And I'd like to present him a little small gift to thank him for coming and doing this for us tonight. I know someday I'm going to look back on this graduating class and we're going to be debating on who to ask to come back to speak. Because you all have gone through a whole lot and you're going to have some very special things that you go out and do in the world. We've already had some students that impress the faculty, and we do want to recognize them at this time with some special recognition awards. So the first one is for outstanding academic performance. And when you come up to the stage, if you'll come around the steps here and then stand on the little white marker there, it'd be easier for pictures to be taken. The Outstanding Academic Performance Award goes to Jacob Blake Yates. This next award goes to the student that impressed the faculty with their clinical performance, and that was Sierra Osborne, our Outstanding Clinical Performance Award winner. As a program, we want the students to learn a lot, and that's why we wanted to recognize academic performance. We know someday you're going to be out in the world working clinically, so we wanted to recognize clinical performance. But we also know there's this special student that we notice every year that we say, they're just professional. And sometimes we teach it to them, and sometimes they just walk in with it. So we want to recognize the student that had the outstanding professional performance, and that is Olivia Harvey. We've come to the time that everyone came for. So just to do a little housekeeping, what we'll do is go row by row, and we'll do the first row first. So if you all will get up with your person that's going to pin you and walk this direction, you'll walk around the back, pick up your rows, come on stage, come here, hand me your card so I can announce your name and the person pinning you. Then you'll go over to the white mark on the stage and stand so that they can get good photos of you. And then you'll go off the stage on that side. So we'll just do row by row. And over here is Ms. Kim Rasnick, and she will help direct you to know when to stand up and go and get in line. So I believe we're ready for the first group. This is Amber Gibson being pinned by Jebediah Gibson. If you'll go over there and stand. Okay. Uh-oh. This is William Logan Poston, and he's being pinned by Shelley Poston. Autumn Mullins is going to be pinned by Teresa Phelps. Uh-oh. Hannah Hughes is going to be pinned by Tara Hughes. Stephanie McCoy being pinned by her mother, Shirley McCoy. Alexa Gristle being pinned by her mother, Candy Christian. Sydney Collins is going to be pinned by Crystal Keith. Donna Morrison is going to be pinned by Heather Morrison. Matney Sutherland is going to be pinned by R.J. Mullins. Hannah Fee is going to be pinned by Rhonda Fee. Nicole Deal is going to be pinned by Michael Deal. Jasmine Absher is going to be pinned by Sean Absher. Christy Stanley is going to be pinned by Bradley Stanley. Haven White is going to be pinned by her mother, Holly Holback. Justin Tyler Wade is going to be pinned by Donna Wade. Sierra Osborne is going to be pinned by Daniel Osborne. Kelly Martin is going to be pinned by Myra Scott. Taylor Holbrook is going to be pinned by Christian Holbrook, and looks like they have a special witness. Liz Edwards is going to be pinned by Sharon Edwards. Taylor Salyer is going to be pinned by her father, Brian Salyer. Lachey O'Quinn is going to be pinned by Jonathan Mullins. Rachel McCowan is going to be pinned by her dad, Rocky McCowan. Angela Blankenship is going to be pinned by Phyllis Witt, her mother. Nancy Lethwich is going to be pinned by her daughter, Jaden Castle. Olivia M. Harvey is going to be pinned by Jason Harvey. This one's kind of special to me because I recruited her when I was getting chemotherapy. This is Olivia Collier, and she's being pinned by Joanna Collier. Whitney Gambrell is going to be pinned by Chuck Gambrell. Kara Bauer is going to be pinned by Corey Bauer. Wendy Cook is going to be pinned by her daughter, Emily Cook. Help me with your name. Shakoti. Looks like it looks. Shakoti Mays is going to be pinned by Amber Salyer. Jamie Stapleton is going to be pinned by her husband, Chris Stapleton. Jackie Polly is going to be pinned by Bo Polly. Brooklyn Warner is going to be pinned by Austin Cottle. Kelsey Dean is going to be pinned by Eugene Bevins. Wendy Fields is going to be pinned by Pam Fields. Hallie Hembry is going to be pinned by Elena Hembry. Dakota Atkins is going to be pinned by David Atkins. Ashley Fonseca is going to be pinned by Emily Cooper. Miranda Gilbert is going to be pinned by Chris Gilbert. Brittany Clayton is going to be pinned by Linda Dietz. Ashton Robinson is going to be pinned by Maverick Mullins. Whitney Cross is going to be pinned by Emma Cross. MacArthur Embody is going to be pinned by Kimberly Embody, his mother. Sydney Fleming Mullins is going to be pinned by her daughter, Harper Mullins. Cassandra Mullins is going to be pinned by Robbie Mullins. Jacob Yates is going to be pinned by his mother, Heather Yates. Jesse Castle is going to be pinned by Abby Castle. Monica Darter is going to be pinned by Nicholas Darter. Bridget Atkins is going to be pinned by Kenneth Atkins. Cassandra Bricky is going to be pinned by David Bricky. believe that's all the students that have been pinned, so I'm going to step away, and they are going to recite their commitment to being a nurse by being led in the International Pledge for Nurses by Jada Oaks.
And y'all thought you were finished with me. All right, just get your program out, and it's on the last page. I'll give you a second to find it. And any nurses in the audience, if you want to recite it with us as well, that would be great. All right, and stand up because it looks better. It's more official. All right, you'll just recite it with me. Okay. In full knowledge of the obligations I'm undertaking, I promise to care for the sick with all the skill and understanding I possess, without regard to race, creed, color, politics, or social status. I will respect at all times the dignity and religious beliefs of the patients under my care, holding in confidence all personal information entrusted to me, and refraining from any action which might endanger life or health. I will endeavor to keep my professional knowledge and skill at the highest level, and to give loyal support and cooperation to all members of the health team. I will do my utmost to honor the International Code of Ethics applied to nursing and to uphold the integrity of the nurse. Congratulations.
Hopefully your time with Mountain Empire Community College Nursing Program while experiencing a pandemic has given you the opportunity to practice being emotionally positive, self-empowered, and fully engaged. Because no matter what you have to face in the future, you will be able to handle it. Go with our best wishes. Keep in touch. Let us know how you do on the NCLEX. Know that we're pulling for you, and know that we did our best to prepare you and have you ready to tackle that. Good luck with all that you endeavor to do, and just keep a little place in your heart for Mountain Empire and come back and see us sometime. Good night.